Hi, I'm GNT.
And I'm Nathan.
And today we're going to focus on some drills that will help you develop your side kick. Okay, so first drill we're going to go through is actually not really a drill, it's more about stretching, develop our flexibility to be able to do an efficient side kick. So the first stretch we're going to do is we'll actually go dynamic first. So the dynamic stretch, he's just going to swing his leg out to the side and try and touch his hand. Whilst he's doing this, he's just trying to keep the alignment, he's trying to make sure that shoulder don't dip in. That's it. So what a lot of people do with this drill, they tend to get a bit lazy and they'll actually turn their foot and do more of a front leg raise to the side rather than a side leg raise. Or they'll dip their shoulder in and create a position that helps them get that side leg raise a little bit easier. You're not going to do either of those. Even if you have to drop the hand nice and low, just keep the alignment and then build it up and you'll gradually improve and get the flexibility to get a good alignment for the efficient side kick rather than cheating. Okay, there's disadvantages as well. If I was to dip in, that means my side kick's going to go offline. So what I mean by that is if I dip this in, look, rather than it being straight, it's going to curve and go over to this side now. So I'm going to favour hitting with the ball of my foot, which we'll talk about in a different video because there's loads of ways you can do a side kick incorrectly. So that was one for dynamic. Now we're going to do one for static. So if he just can space his legs a little bit, you don't want to go too wide for this. He's going to keep his body alignment again, keep his shoulders nice and square. He's going to reach down the side of his leg. Okay, as you're doing this, you can see you're crunching in this part here, get the obliques working, and then you're working on that flexibility of jamming basically into your hip. Again, you don't want to be dipping that shoulder in, coming across and coming around with the technique, because that'll obviously deter you from the good alignment. You want it to be nice and in line, really crunch this in all the way down. You can do this as well, if you space your legs a little bit wider, you can do it from here. But what a lot of people tend to do when they put their legs wider is then they tend to want to curve around a little bit more to get down lower and feel like they've done something. So rather than that, just think about that nice alignment and see that crunch. And if you can get this crunch as well, it's really going to help you when you perform kicks in sparring or anything like that, because you'll be able to have a good high body position, so you can go into your hands afterwards. You can do controlled leans better. It's just really good for everything. So try not to cheat. Try and get the good stretch, and that way then it will benefit you in the long run as well. Next one is to go into the wall side kick. Now what this is good for is taking away the balance out of the equation and just working on the mechanics of the kick and just getting a really good side kick position. So if he just goes by the wall, he puts his left hand on the wall, so he obviously gets rid of the balance aspect. He can lift his leg up now. We're going to focus on the full side kick position as well, so then he's going to come to the side, then he's going to get that nice clean alignment. What he's looking for here is getting his shoulder, hip and heel all in line, and if he can blade his foot as well at the end, even better. Now you'd rep this a good few times. We can do it nice and slow as well, just to understand the mechanics. There we go. And if you wanted to, you could do it fast and freeze, but he's just focusing on the position. He's lifting it up, going straight out, getting that good alignment with the side kick, and then he's trying to retract his leg as well and bring it back. Yeah, you want to pull it back like that, because if you can pull it back like that, you could kick again. Next drill is to do the side kick over a chair. So if he lifts his leg up, he's going to go over the chair and then retract it, bring it back as well. Now, the good thing about this drill is it's teaching you to lift your leg first before you go out. So if someone was to rush him, for example, you'd get jammed if you were swinging it up. So it eradicates the person that would lift their leg like this before they kick. Yeah, so it's going to give you actually more power as well. It does take a little bit longer, but there are variations that we can obviously do to make the side kick a little bit faster while still lifting it that way. But yeah, it's lifting on the way up effectively, get a nice strong side kick, and then being able to retract his leg to come back before he puts it down. The reason why we don't want to let it just drop as well, because if we're out of balance and we drop the leg into position, we'll obviously go into techniques, we go into punches, things like that. But also it's just for good balance. You know, we want to be able to do anything that we want to do after the kick. So if we want to move or we want to do another kick, we want to punch, whatever we want to do, we're in control. And that's what we're looking for, good control. Yeah, apart from that, I'd say when he's lifting, he can do this kick really slow. So you can work on the mechanics and obviously his balance at the same time. Or you could actually do this fast. So bump and back. Good. So there's a couple of ways to do this drill. My recommendation, first of all, is to go nice and slow to develop the balance, develop the muscles, and then when you get a little bit more confident, obviously, and you know you're not going to hit the chair, then go a little bit faster. Okay, so the next drill is to work on our blade or foot sword position for when we make our side kick. Now a lot of people when they first start tend to strike more with the flat of the foot like this. Now it's pretty good when you first start obviously, but if we get the blade of the foot, what's going to happen is it's going to dig into the target, it's going to penetrate into the opponent and obviously create a little bit more damage. If we're breaking boards as well, it's obviously a lot easier to do it that way. We don't want to be pushing. If there's more surface area, the flat of the foot, we're going to be doing more of a push and it's going to be moving the opponent or just pushing the boards back rather than digging into them and breaking them. So, the way that I do that, nice and simple, is I just blade my feet and I just walk up and down. Get the kids to do this, it's quite fun. You walk up and down the halls, just go on the blades of their feet just to get used to the side kick position. Okay? Now, if you're a little bit more senior, a little bit older, what I'd recommend as well is you add just a little bit of impact on these. You can just tap your feet. We're on mats at the moment, but you could do this on harder surfaces as well. Get a little bit of conditioning, get used to obviously hitting harder things. Just tapping, and we get used to again the blade of our foot. Then I'd go to a side stance. From the side stance then, I'd actually blade my foot at the beginning. The reason I blade my foot at the beginning is because I can focus on the mechanics of my side kick, rather than thinking about blading. It's already bladed. I just lift, I kick, I come back. Yeah, I come back with a bladed foot as well. I might rep this 10 times, get used to it, get used to that position. Then eventually, where I'm going to go to is just my normal side stance position, and then I'd start from the flat, then I blade as I kick, so I get a decent side kick with the blade of my foot. Remember as well, what we're looking for is the toes slightly lower than the heel. Okay, so that heel should be digging forward. We got that nice blade position. Try and imagine this as obviously my leg. Okay, so we're getting more of this shape position. So have a good go, get that blade position, and you're having a really nice side kick. Okay, so the last drill is to focus on the two main outcomes of the kick, and that's obviously connecting with it or missing. Now we've done a lot of kicking in the air, which we worked on our balance, so that way then obviously if we miss something we'd be able to retract our leg, be able to move afterwards, what we talked about in the previous drills. This one will be focusing more on connecting. So now when he's doing his side kick, he's going to try and remember all the pointers we've done. He's going to go for his side kick, that's it, nice. If you just retract your leg a little bit faster, let's just do it like it's going to, that's it, boom. Okay, so if you can see he's lifting his leg up. Now this is really important, because if he's not lifting his leg up, let's say he's just bringing it up. Let's go in a little bit closer just for a second. Yeah, if he's swinging it up now, he's obviously going to clip him on the way. Okay, now if someone in a stance, that's going to be more of the knee. It's also going to be easier to grab. There's going to be loads of complications you're going to get from doing it that way. Whereas if he's in nice and close, maybe even closer maybe, he's going to lift his knee up. You can still get a side kick out to a degree. Yeah, it might not be the best side kick. It's not going to create the most damage, but it'll still be something that could keep our opponent at bay. Okay, so that's why we were focused on lifting up straight earlier. So let's just go back now, so we can do a nice side kick. So he's going to smash it, boom, good, nice side kick. So if you can see his alignment's really good, the bob's actually going back straight there. Yeah, it's really sharp. If that connects with someone, it's going to go completely into them. It's going to create a lot of pain for you, I think. Okay. If he's favouring, however, a little bit more of his heel, let's say he dips his right hip in slightly, which means he'll favour the heel. Now he either could miss, let's just say it's not as bad as that. Let's say he lifts now, as you can see now it's more of a scuff, okay? Now, if we're scuffing something, yeah, all the energy is not going into the thing we're trying to hit. A little bit is going to go to the side. There can be incidents where if you do skim, it can be a little bit more painful, but most of the time it just scuffs off and the energy goes off to the side and it doesn't hurt our opponent as much as we'd like to. The other way as well is if he dips now his hip out, yeah, there we go, he's already doing it for me, but if he dips his hip out or brings his back shoulder in, creates the alignment for favouring more of the ball of the foot. Now if anything, I'd say this is the worst one, because if he's coming around here, he's connecting with something that's really weak now. It's more of the toes and more of a push as well. It also is very easy for someone to advance in on this one. The back kick, I find, if you turn out, you can kind of get away with it a little bit. But this one is, you're in a really bad position. So if he does this one, let's see, he dips the shoulder in or turns his hip out. Yeah, as you can see then, you're going to fall in. Boom, you're open for everything. It's a very nasty position to be in. So when you're doing this and you're connecting with something, make sure you're just keeping that alignment. That way then as well, when he's used to connecting it correctly, let's do a good one for a second. boom. Okay. Smash the bob. Excellent. Now, no, that's good, that's good. Come back, come back. Now, if he does the same thing and he hits the air, do a nice full commitment as well. Go. Yeah, see how he can still actually retract his leg? Whereas if he's falling off and dipping one of those, it's going to be very difficult for him to actually do when he's kicking the air as well. If he's overcommitting, it's going to be very hard to bring that leg back. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So hitting and missing, working on that good alignment. Right, so those were a few drills that will help you develop your side kick. We've got plenty more, so we'll probably cover those in future videos. Also, we'll talk about adding extra movements whilst making your side kick and the advantages and disadvantages of correct and incorrect alignment.
Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Team GNT.
Whoa.